What's up, y'all? I'm out here at the range, as you can see back behind me, on what's actually been a really nice day to get some testing done. A little bit chilly out here. We're in the low 50s as far as temps, and as you can see, it's completely overcast, but I don't have no sun baking me out here. I don't have any kind of strong wind, so I ain't complaining about this right here. I've gotten a couple good tests done so far, and this one right here should be a really good 380 ACP test. So I got the jelly contraption hanging out for one more test today. Got 2 chronos and a couple of blocks of gel. Now I've done a couple of tests like I mentioned, but everything stayed at the back side, so I've got this whole entire front section. Now this is just a 380, but with what we're testing here today, we may end up needing this entire front section on both blocks. And that's because we got some good old buffalo bore 380 here, namely their Hardcast round. It's a 100 grain Hardcast projectile. I've got the Plus P and the standard version. Now the Plus P, again, it's a 100 grain Hardcast flat nose. They say an 1150 feet per second, which would give you almost 300 foot-pounds of energy out of a little 380. So not sure what the barrel he tests out of several different real-world barrel lengths, so we'll find out what it does through this little Bodyguard. And then, of course, again, I've got the standard pressure also. Again, same projectile, 100 grain flat nose Hardcast. This one is saying 975, so a pretty significant difference in energy between the standard and the Plus P, which is why I always personally, if I'm going to run a 380, it's going to be the hottest stuff I can possibly get, because I don't care nothing about no expansion. A 380 is going to be iffy as far as expansion goes anyway. As far as that goes, if you could get a super hot FMJ, I'm perfectly fine with that. The only reason I usually give expanding hollow points a hard time when they don't expand is because that's what you're supposed to be getting. That's the design of that round, and when you don't get it, of course, I'm going to have some complaints. But generally speaking, I've mentioned several times that if it were me, I'd just run some FMJ. Now, as somebody who's not really invested in 380, that's what I would run. If I were running 380 as my full-time EDC and depending on that thing for my defense and my safety and possibly my life, yes, this is what I would be running. Some type of Hardcast Plus P like this, so I can get every bit of everything I can from this 380. Here's a look at the cartridge, brass case, again with that Hardcast flat nose projectile. I haven't even opened the standard pressure because I don't want to get them mixed up. They look exactly the same. Now I have actually tested Underwood's Hardcast too in 380. It was 1150 as well, Plus P, 100 grain projectile, so same weight, same style projectile Hardcast. It claimed that 1150, but if I remember correctly, it was from the LCP Max. It did not hit that 1150 from the LCP Max. I think it was down in the 1000. So gonna be really interesting to see what this does. As far as the test tool this time, we've got the M&P Bodyguard 2.0. So this should be an interesting comparison between this standard and Plus P Hardcast. Let's get it all set up and see what they can do. All right, let's get us some numbers on this stuff. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each one of them. I'm gonna start with the standard pressure first. Now you're gonna see multiple readings from this lab radar. The large numbers right here at the muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. The first one there is set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet. And then the others are set for 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. Now remember the box on this standard pressure saying 975. Not sure what length barrel. I think in the past I've looked, and I know he does test out of like some 3.8 inch type stuff like that, so we may not see that here. It wouldn't surprise me if we don't, even being buffalo bore. Let's see what happens here. It's a smoky boy for sure. 923, 929. That's a smoky boy. 913, 912. And 910, so definitely not the 975. Again, I didn't expect it. Let's check out the average. All right, so our 5-round average right there was 917 feet per second. We had an extreme spread of 19 with an 8.0 standard deviation, so nice consistency from this stuff. 917, I mean, obviously that's lower than 975 on the box, but again, he never claimed it was coming out of this barrel, so I can't really be aggravated or mad at buffalo bore. Really, it's just the 380. That's what I'm always disappointed in, is this caliber in itself. But I ain't even gonna get started on that this early in the video. Let's get it reset and see what the Plus P does. All right, let's see what they do with the added pressure here. Now remember, these are saying 1150. Obviously, I don't expect to see that after what we just saw from the standard pressure. If I was guessing, we're probably gonna drop below 1100 with this, just based on what we just saw there. Maybe not. Maybe with the extra spice, it'll keep it a little over 11, but I'm expecting to go a little bit under, honestly. 1,064, 1,055, definitely some smoky stuff, 1,052, 1,054, and 1,063, a little more snap from this plus P obviously, but it's really nothing night and day difference between this and standard pressure. Let's check out this average. All right, one thing I have to say again, like almost all of Buffalo's bore stuff, very nice consistency right here. We had 1,058 5-round average this time, extreme spread of 12 with a 5.6 standard deviation. So really nice consistency. 1,058, I mean, obviously I'd like to see more than that, but again, it's a 380. It's a 100 grain Hardcast 380. There just ain't but so much you can do, especially when you're running out of this little old 2.75 inch barrel. But 1,058 here, and if you remember on the standard pressure, it was 917. So you talking about, what's that? 141 feet per second difference. That's a significant difference right there, buddy. That's a big difference as far as velocity and of course as far as energy. And when you're talking about this level, you need every bit of energy you can possibly get to get this thing to get where it needs to get. All that being said, these I think may go the distance. That Underwood, if I remember correctly, it actually went the distance. It went through both blocks, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if that's what we see right here. But let's get this stuff reset and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's hard-headed jelly time. We'll put one from each into the gel, starting with the standard pressure first. I do have my fancy high-tech bath towel and sheet stop down there just in case. We're probably safe with this standard pressure, but it wouldn't surprise me on that plus P if it goes the distance. I see the track. I think it curved a little bit. Let me go check it out. All right, nothing too surprising from that right there. It looks actually pretty doggone nice. Nice straight line penetration too. Well, let's see what this plus P does. Again, we may go to distance on this right here. Let's see what happens. Whoo, that's definitely a big old long straight line. Let me go check that out. All right, exactly what I figured would happen right there. Full distance through both blocks. And I know what some of y'all thinking. I know y'all too well already. I know the comments right now are going to be half full of what would it do versus a regular FMJ. So here's what I'm going to do for you. This is the best I can do. I've got some Fiocchi FMJ here, 95 grain. It says 960. That's out of a way longer barrel. I can tell you, we ain't coming close to that. Now, this is a round nose, so just take it or leave it. Like, watch it or don't watch. That's all I could. I had some flat nose somewhere, FMJ, but I can't find them anywhere. I need to order some more of them. So here we go. We're going to see what this does versus the FMJ. All right, I think that one curved, which does not surprise me at all with an FMJ. Let me go see what that happened down there. All right, since that worked out pretty smoothly, and once again, I know y'all pretty good by now, and I know that probably the half that didn't holler about what would it do versus the FMJ, it's probably hollering what would it do versus Xtreme Defender or Penetrator. So we're gonna run one of them. I'm going with the Xtreme Penetrator, 90 grain Xtreme Penetrator plus P. That's the kind of person I am. I think the Xtreme Pen, I want the distance. I want the distance, and I want the plus P. So again, take this or leave it. This is the best you're getting for today. Let's see what happens here. Hopefully I didn't get into another track. That's all I'm worried about. Let me go check it out. All right, let's check out what we got down here. I am very, very happy with how this test ended up. This should be some pretty doggone useful and interesting info for my 380 folks down here. We'll go through all 4 of them here. Now that one obviously went the distance, so that's the only one y'all not seeing in the picture here, but starting up at the very top here, this is the standard pressure hardcast. As you can see, they all are really similar other than that one penetrator we'll talk about here in a second. As far as disruption and energy transfer, they all look pretty similar. Decent little amount of disruption right there. It keeps on trucking all the way through this first block. This standard pressure hardcast goes into the second block, probably 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 4.5, 5 inches maybe, and it's sitting down here straight forward. And then next up, we'll drop all the way down here to the very bottom. There's 2 that's really close, but they're completely separate. Once I pick you up, you can see this one right here. Now this is the plus P hardcast. You can see just subtle differences in kind of the way the disruption happens through here. That could be meaningless and negligible, just something to take note of. Again, this one goes all the way through this first block into the second block, keeps on trucking, and this one goes all the way out this second block and in through 3 or 4 different layers of my towels. I hadn't pulled it yet, but I can tell you that thing went deep, so we'll pull it out here together. Next up, we'll jump right here, the second one down. That's the FMJ, that Fiocchi. Now, the biggest issue with this Fiocchi FMJ is it was very, very low as far as velocity and energy. I think it was just over 700 right here at the block, so that's just low energy. But as you can see, as far as performance and the way it looks here in this ballistic gel, very similar to the standard pressure hardcast. You can see nice little disruption carries on through this first block. It does poke into this second block, probably 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch with a little bit of rebound. And this one again is facing straight forward. And then last but not least is the third one down right up above this plus P hardcast. It's a little bit behind it, a little bit covered up, so you can't quite see the disruption in this area right here, but I'll pick you up and show you. This is the one, as I mentioned, just kind of looking at this here, you know, it's really hard to compare disruption because this is just ballistic gel. I mean, anything could happen. This really doesn't tell you a whole lot, but it does look like there's a little more disruption from this penetrator right here. As you can see, it comes in again, nice disruption. I mean, it's got really nice disruption really all the way through this track. This one again goes into the second block. It goes almost exactly the same as that standard pressure hardcast, probably 1/2 an inch short of that. And this one down here is sitting backwards, so somewhere along the line it did tumble. Now, as far as the distance on them, we'll start up top, of course. This is the standard pressure hardcast. This one's out to 20.5 inches, so very, very nice right there. Dropping down to the bottom, obviously, that's 32+ inches from that plus P. Back up here to the FMJ Fiocchi. This one is at 16.5 inches, so very nice there again. And then the Xtreme Penetrator is out here to 19.5. So really, really nice from all of these, in my opinion. And here you go, you close-up look. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If you look at those 4 tracks right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, you looking at standard pressure hardcast, FMJ, Xtreme Penetrator, and then plus P hardcast. So as you can see there, I mean, really, you have to admit that that Xtreme Penetrator, you know, just looking at it, has a little bit of edge now versus this hardcast. There's really not that much difference. And again, it's ballistic gel. That's just kind of nuances. It can happen, it could look different with each and every round there, but keep on going here. We'll follow it through. There's your FMJ right there. If we keep on going, there's your standard pressure hardcast. There's your Xtreme Penetrator. And then this line right here is your plus P hardcast, which we'll pull out here in a second. Y'all can see it came out right there, came out the end, very end, went into this green towel. I mean, and I figured it would have stopped right there, but it kept on going. It went into the white towel. You can see entrance hole right there, and boom, there you can see it lodged in that orange towel right there. So I don't know how far. So it didn't go through all layers of this towel. So 1 layer, 2 layers, 3, 4, 5, about 6 layers of that third folded up bath towel. So that little plus P hardcast had some boogie to it. All right, let's check out these projectiles, y'all. Obviously, these right here, these are the 2 hardcasts. As you can see, really no deformation at all from either one of these. Completely intact, completely what they started out as. And in these two here, there's your Fiocchi FMJ. You can see open on the bottom there, round nose, really no deformation to speak of here either. And then here is your Xtreme Penetrator. Again, no deformation at all. You got that flat Phillips head looking tip on it. Really nothing all that spectacular to look at from either of these. So let's get some numbers on them and see what that looks like. I don't know which Hardcast was which. They both probably the same. Both started at 100. That one right there is actually at 100.8. So obviously nothing lost right there. This one here is actually at 101.2, so obviously nothing lost from either one of those. Your Fiocchi FMJ started at 95, and it's actually at 94.2, so again, just manufacturing tolerances there. And then your Xtreme Penetrator started at 90, and that's at 90.6. So absolutely nothing lost from either one of these, which they don't expand, they don't fragment, so you wouldn't expect any loss at all. And then as far as the sizes, as usual, we'll just get a base and a length on them. You got 351 with a length of 473. This one here, you got 353 with a length of 483. Your FMJ here, you got 353, and the shortest so far at 454. And then your Xtreme Penetrator, you got 353, and the longest length so far at 510. So there you go, y'all. What started out as being Buffalo Bore a Hardcast plus P versus standard turned into Buffalo Bore Hardcast versus everything pretty much. So performance wise, I mean, similar performance from all of these. The energy and penetration obviously is the biggest differences between them. As far as that goes, energy wise, the Hardcast plus P is the winner. It edged out this Xtreme Penetrator even by a little bit. Not a whole lot, but it is a heavier projectile as well. So 10 grains heavier, and I think it had maybe 10 more FPS. So virtually the same, but I mean, numbers are numbers. You have to give the edge if you're just counting pure energy to that plus P Hardcast. Now, as far as what happened here in the gel, would you rather have that penetration? Would you rather have something like that Penetrator that stopped a little shorter but still gave you nice energy? Now, keep in mind also, I know some people are going to see this Hardcast plus P and think, oh, that's just massive, that's way too much. But you also have to remember, this is 10% plain clear ballistic gel, 10% plain gel. There's nothing inside here. Whatever you might have the misfortune of needing to put some of these in is going to be completely different. There's going to be other bits and pieces. There's going to be more dense pieces. There's going to be harder pieces. There's going to be more fibrous pieces. So do not take this as over penetration. Well, you take it how you want, but I personally don't take it as over penetration. If I'm picking one of these rounds out of all of them right here, everything else aside, I'm going with the plus P Hardcast, because again, if I'm betting my life and my safety on a 380 ACP, I want every single bit that I can get from it. All right, y'all, I'm gonna call it right there for what ended up being a really nice day out here for some testing. Nothing really surprising about this one right here. I figured the Hardcast plus P was gonna be the one for me. I figured it was going the distance. It absolutely went the distance. The others had some very nice penetration to those as well. Again, if you're talking 380, I would be fine with either one of these. If it was something that I just had to grab, if I needed to run a 380. Now, if I were going to run 380 full-time EDC, that's what I'm betting my safety on. That's what I'm betting my security on. It's going to be everything that I can get. It doesn't matter what the cost is. So it's going to be this plus P Buffalo Bore Hardcast 100% or something very similar that has the same amount of energy. And so far, there's nothing that has the same amount of energy. So it's going to be this Buffalo Bore Hardcast. Again, it may not be the difference and the game changer with just a little small amount of energy difference, but if you can get it, why in the world not get it? But let me know down in the comments what y'all think. Those of y'all especially that full-time run 380, what do you think about the performance from all of these rounds out here? Do you think one is worth way more as far as cost versus the performance? If you had to choose one of these rounds right here, which one would it be? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Huge thanks again to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. I've got tons of more stuff planned, so make sure you stay on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.